The chemical industry grew in scale along with American industry generally in the late 19th century. So from about 1880 on up to 1914, it experienced very rapid growth. As steel industry grew, the chemicals that the steel industry needed grew, and an industry grew up to supply them. So that by 1914 or so, and even earlier, by 1900, the United States was already on the world stage a major producer of industrial chemicals. The United States was probably the second leading producer of sulfuric acid. It was already the leading or almost the leading producer of superphosphate fertilizers, for example. So the industry was growing very rapidly, and it had gotten to an industrial scale. The rise of chemical engineering in the United States emerged out of sort of several long-standing industrial traditions and a couple of new ingredients thrown in. The United States had a long tradition dating back to the early part of the 19th century of mass production at low cost. Mass production at low cost meant large-scale machinery, which was one thing that inclined the United States chemical industry more towards the mechanical side than the chemical side. World War I farther accelerates the growth of the American chemical industry, partially because the growth had been partially impeded by the fact that the Germans held a lot of key patents and were determined to keep other manufacturers from getting them. Were using monopolistic practices, dumping goods on the market if it looked like a rival was going to emerge for a particular chemical to drive the rival out of business. The Germans were determined to maintain their dominance. What World War I did, especially once America entered World War I, is the government seizes the German patents and releases them to American industry as a whole. So in the course of World War I, you have first the American chemical industry scaling up to produce war goods, so explosives, rubberized garments, anything that has military applications, increasing the size of the American industry. And then you have all these German patents that are now wide open, where American chemical manufacturers can now enter in competitively to the production of dyes and pharmaceuticals in particular that they never could before. So coming out of World War I, the chemical industry is the growth industry in the U.S. In the 1920s, it's chemicals and the automobile. Those two industries played the same role, let's say, that the computer industry has played in more recent times. They were the sort of economic growth engine in that period.